Okay. So starting lying on the mat. Just stretching your legs out, putting your arms by the side of you. Noticing where your body connects with the mat and where your body doesn't. So today's theme is reconnection. A check-in with your body after everything that's happened over the last few months, 2 years. And in order to do this most effectively, you need to work with your body. Try not to get fixated on the shapes that the media bombards you with. Instead, feel what is right within your body and the body that you have. And yoga is about kindness. Kindness to the universe, kindness to each other, and kindness to yourself. So if something doesn't feel right, then listen to your body and adjust. And then if you want to bring your hands to your tummies, and we're going to start just bring our attention to our breath. So first of all, just noticing your breath, but not changing anything. Noticing the rise and fall of your tummy. Noticing the coolness of the in-breath and the heat of the out-breath. And in yoga, we try to breathe in and out through our nose. But if that's not possible or not comfortable for you, just making sure you continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. We're now going to start to lengthen our breath. So we're going to breathe in for 4. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. 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 Lovely. And then we're going to bring our knees into our chest and just give our knees a big hug. And then we're just going to start to roll gently. So imagining we've got pencils on our knees and we're drawing circles in the ceiling. And as you draw the circles, just bring your attention to your lower back and how the connection with your lower back changes. And then change and rotate the opposite direction. Taking lovely long in breath and slow out breath. And from there, we're going to bring our feet above our hips and our hands above our shoulders. And we're just going to start to slowly rotate our hands and our feet, awakening the joints. Now, all our joints are encapsulated with synovial fluid, and as we start to move and rotate, this fluid starts to move more freely, and our joints work more effectively. So rotating in one direction, and then changing and maybe rotating in the other direction. And really just starting to look at all the movements we can make with the joints and moving freely in a way that feels right for you. Breathing in, deep into the chest, into the belly, and breathing out. And then we're going to clench our fists and clench our toes and clench everything as tight as we can as we breathe in. And then stretch out, stretch and find length between the fingers, the toes as we breathe out. Again, breathing in, tighten everything, clench it, clench it, clench it. Breathing out, stretching between the fingers and toes. One last time, breathing in and out. Really nice. From there, we're going to bring the feet as wide as the mat, just in front of our sitting bones, so bent legs. And we're just going to drop our knees from one side to the other. This is called windscreen wipers. Your arms can just rest by the side of you. We're just going to drop our knees from one side to the other. Really nice. And just noticing how the hips are feeling. Noticing perhaps if one side feels different to the other. Possibly just hanging out on one place where you feel a little bit more, or just going back and forth over one area. So breathing into the ribs, imagining the lungs like two balloons, and breathing to try and find space between the ribs. So we're breathing into the side of the ribs. Really good. And then from there, we're going to bring our feet in front of our sitting bones, a little bit nearer now, with our legs still bent. Then we're going to just gently push into our feet. And as you push into your feet, you'll notice how the lower back just starts to connect with the mat. And this is the very base of our spine, like the tail of our spine. And that gap that we have in our lower back, in the arch of our back before, disappears. We really connect the whole of the back with the mat. And then as we breathe in, we're going to then, as we breathe out, start to peel off the mat. So slowly peeling one vertebra at a time, peeling the whole of the back off the mat, coming right to the very top, trying to make sure both of our knees are still parallel, breathing in at the top, and as we breathe out, bringing our spine all the way back down to the mat. And as we do that, just trying to bring the sitting bones towards our heels. Again, breathing in to prepare. And as we breathe out, slowly peeling ourselves off the mat, using our glutes and our bum muscles, pushing right into both of our feet. And we're at the top. Let's just lift our toes off the mat a little bit. Try and separate the toes and connect them back with the mat. Breathing in, and as we breathe out, again, bringing those sitting bones towards the heels. So we're bringing length to the spine and space between the vertebrae. Keep moving, doing this in your own time, using your breath. Really thinking about all four corners of the feet connecting with the mat. And that length and that space between the vertebrae as we come back down to the mat. One more of these. Really pushing into the feet, pushing into the glutes. And then last peel back down to the mat. Then we're going to roll onto our right side and push into our top hand. And then we're going to come and meet in tabletop position. The tabletop position is where our hands are underneath our shoulders and our knees are underneath our hips. And you want a hip distance apart between your knees. Again, we want to open our fingers, connect the whole of our hands with the mat. And as we do that, we just notice how the armpits, the shoulders start to connect too. And we want to imagine we can put a cup of tea on our back. So you want your neck to be long and crown of the head moving forward. The tail just gently tucking under. And the tummy muscles slightly engaged so we have a lovely flat back. From there, we're going to breathe in. And as we breathe in, we're going to drop our tailbone and we're going to look just in front of us. As we breathe out, we're going to tuck our tailbone under, let our head drop between our hands and push into our hands. So we're like an angry cat, arching our back. And again, breathing in, we drop our tummies, we allow our tummies come towards the mat. looking just ahead of us, but really thinking about some length still in those vertebrae in our neck. As we breathe out, tucking under, arching our backs, maybe just gently nod and shake our head to make sure our neck muscles are relaxed. Again, continue moving, breathing in as we come into our cow, and breathing out as we move into our angry cat. Using the breath, trying to bring the shoulders away from our ears as we come into cow. Using the hands to push away and create that lovely length through the spine as we arch into our cat. 2 more of these. Last one. Really nice. And then we're going to come into a child's pose. So our knees are going to come as wide as the mat. Our toes are going to come together. We're going to drop our sitting bones back towards our heels. And we're going to stretch our hands out in front of us, bringing our head, our forehead to the mat. Now, either this can be really active and you can be really actively stretching through your fingers, or it can be relaxed, just a passive. I like to then just massage my forehead by rocking my head gently from side to side. And breathe. Breathe deep into your tailbone. And remember, this is a posture you can come into at any point during this practice if you feel like you need to just come out of a pose. It's a lovely restorative pose. Right, from there, we're all going to come back into our tabletop position. And we're just going to gently wag our tails. So imagining we're like a dog. We're wagging our tails, and we can then just start to bring our neck in. So we look towards the side that we're wagging towards. And our spine now is making a lovely movement. So we've now moved our spine in lots of different ways. Next, we're going to be twisting. But for now, we're just moving from side to side. Just noticing how the hips feel when you make this movement. Lovely. From there, we're going to come into a seated position. And depending how you feel comfortable, either you can just come into a cross-legged position, or you can come into a half lotus, or you can let your legs go out if that feels more comfortable. The most important thing is that you move the flesh away from your sitting bones so you can come into a lovely seated position. You're comfortable. From here, we're just going to bring our attention to the spine once again, imagining we've got that string pulling the crown of our head up. Our chin is gently tucked in, and we're nestled into the mat. From there, we're going to just look towards the left-hand side. We're going to imagine we're just looking along the horizon. This is called the exercise that cures 1,000 ailments. So we're going to just gently look from one side to the other as though we're scanning the horizon. Keeping our posture, keeping our spine long. And the slower you do this, the more you will benefit. You might find, if you're really mindful, just at certain points, your cervical spine, the part of your spine in your neck, just does a few clicks and crunches. Hopefully, does it some good. Breathe. Lovely. And then coming back to the center, then we're going to drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And just notice how the neck feels. Maybe it's feeling really tight. If that is enough, then stay there, but breathe in and out. If you'd like a little further stretch, you can gently put your hand on the top of your head and just gently breathe in and out, using the out breath to try and let go. Trying to think about bringing length to this side of your neck. And then you're going to gently tuck your chin under. Bring your hand to the back of your head. So you're looking under your armpit and then breathing in and breathing out. Using the out breath to just surrender to the stretch. And very carefully taking the hand off the back of the neck, bringing the neck back to the center, and then we're dropping the left ear to the left shoulder. Take a breath here just to feel how it feels. And then if you want to increase the stretch, just gently putting the hand on the top of the head. Breathing in. Really nice. Then tucking the chin under, looking under the armpit, bringing the hand gently onto the back of the head. Breathing in. Breathing out. Really nice. Breathing in. Breathing out. And releasing. Really nice. From there, we're going to drop the right hand to the mat. We're going to bring the left hand up. We're going to make sure our shoulders away from our ears. The lengthening through the crown. Breathing in to prepare. And as we breathe out, we're just going to gently just tip over to the right hand side. As we breathe in, we want to breathe into the ribs at the side here. And as we breathe out, we can lengthen a little further, right through to the fingertips. So from the sitting bone, from that right hip, all the way through to the fingertips, we're active. One last breath here. Beautiful. Now bring yourself back to center, dropping the left hand to the mat, bringing the right hand up by the side of our ear. Again, moving the shoulder away from the ear. Crown lengthening through, breathing in to prepare, and breathing out to gently just stretch over to the left hand side. Maybe just making sure you can look underneath the armpit. We haven't collapsed forward, but we're lovely and straight. Again, using the in-breath maybe to come up a little and the out-breath just to stretch a little further. Careful the shoulders and coming out of the socket. Breathing one last time. Fabulous. And coming back to the center, we're then going to take the left hand to the outside of the right knee. We're going to breathe in to find length in our spine, and we're going to breathe out to gently twist round to the right hand side. And you can always use the back of the hand for a bit of purchase here. So every time we breathe in, we're finding length through the spine. Every time we're breathing out, we just twist a little further. One last breath here. Really lovely. And coming back to the center. Again, finding length through the spine, taking the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Right. Lengthen through as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, twisting round to the left hand side. Making sure we're not collapsing backwards, but really sitting through those sitting bones up through the crown. And as you do this, your stomach muscles will just start to engage naturally. One last breath here. Fabulous. And then coming back to center. And we're going to come into a kneeling position. I'm going to do it from the side, but you might want to face me. You want to try and grab hold of your toes and separate your toes, because your toes are going to be underneath you. And again, on the other side, just separate. Try and find space between the toes as we come back into a kneeling position. And this might be agony or depending on how much you can handle. So as soon as you've had enough, you can undo the toes. But we're going to stay like that. And as we do it, we're just going to take our left shoulder and start to roll it backwards. And then our right shoulder. And then both shoulders going backwards. And then both shoulders going forwards. Hopefully your feet are all right. But this is really good for our toes. Our toes suffer so much and we give them so much neglect. It's excellent for bringing blood and circulate to your circulation of your toes. Brilliant. From there, we're going to come back into our tabletop. We're going to bring our hands connected to the mat, making sure our fingers are stretched out wide and the whole of our hand, even the pads in the top of our hand are all connected. Everything is connected to the mat. That connection will really help strengthen. You're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to just gently hover off the ground. So you're pushing into your hands. And by pushing into your hands, you engage your shoulders. And then just going to hover here. And then you're going to slowly bring your sitting bones back up. And we come into our first downward dog. Now you need to make sure that your knees the whole way through this practice are lovely and soft. We never want to lock our knees out. You might want to just pedal through your downward dog because it's our first one today. And then just find some stillness. But again, once you find the stillness, you want to make sure your knees are soft. We're not locking our knees back. Our knees are soft. We're pushing into our hands and we're breathing deeply into our ribs. Expand into the side of the ribs to the back of the ribs. From there, we're going to then just come down and hover one more time, just breathing. And then we come back up to our downward dog. Again, coming down, we hover, 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 really engaging everything, using all our muscles. And then back into our downward dog. And one last time, coming down. This is your last one. Hover, hover, hover. Push into the hands. Really think about the muscles under the armpits, trying to engage them. Then we come back into our downward dog. That's it. And then we're going to walk our hands towards our feet and our feet towards our hands. And we're going to slowly tuck our tailbone under and roll one vertebra at a time. Our head being the last thing that comes in. Comes up, rolling the shoulders back, coming to a standing position. We're going to walk ourselves just a little bit further forward to the front of our mat. From here, we're going to just stand into Tadasana. Now, Tadasana is mountain pose. So you want your feet, to be hip distance apart. You stay at the front of your mat. I'm just going to show you this way. Now, we're always very punishing about the front of what our hip distance is. And the way to find out, if you put your fists together and put them between your feet, that is a good, fair judgment of what your hip distance is, okay? From there, you want to lift up your toes, separate them and connect them with the mat. My knees are lovely and soft. Now I'm tucking my tailbone under. I'm bringing the crown of my head up. My shoulders are rolled back and my hands are actively by my side, stretching out. Chin slightly tucked in. We're doing 3 breaths here. Even though this is just standing, basically, it's actually a really active pose and one of the hardest ones, I think. 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. Fabulous. And from there, we're at the front of our mat. We're going to bring our arms, first of all, I'll just show you this way, to a T, then to a Y, and then we're going to bring our hands behind our heads. So following with me, we come to the front of the mat, bring our hands to a T, bring our hands to a Y. We cup our hands around the back of our head as we tuck our chin under. As we tuck our chin, we slowly roll down, all the way down to the mat, until we get to a point where we just let our arms go. From there, you might just gently nod and shake your head. You want your knees to be generously bent, okay? This is not about having straight legs. It's about having connection with your your tummies to the thighs. Yeah, that's what you're working towards. And then you're going to breathe in and out down at the bottom. And then as you breathe in, you're going to tuck your tailbone under. You're going to slowly start to roll one vertebra at a time, all the way up. You're heckling the last thing that comes. Then we come back to a T, back to a Y, hands behind our head, rolling all the way down. Using our breath. Now the aim is to do breathe in on the in breath on the way up and out breath on the way out, but it doesn't matter. Just breathing fluidly is more important. Gentle nod and shake, and then again rolling all the way up. We're going to keep doing 2 more of these in your own time. Really being mindful and thinking about the spine as it curls round. Thinking about how those vertebrae are starting to find space. Separate, just surrender when you get to the bottom. Tucking that tail under, keeping the chin tucked in. Finding the fluidity in the movement. And the next time we get to a forward fold, I want you to stay there. Really nice. From this forward fold, you might want to just grab your elbows. So grabbing your elbows like this. And then you feel a greater stretch through the armpit. Just gently nod and shake the head. Let's take a deep breath in and we sigh it out. So breathing in and let it out. One more, breathing in. And sigh it out. Really nice. From there, we're going to walk the right foot into the center of our mat and push into the right foot so that the left foot then becomes lovely and light. We're then going to step the left foot wide back behind us and we're going to come into warrior. So we want the front foot is pointing forwards, the back foot is on an angle. And what you want is the heel of the front foot will go into the center of the back foot, into the arch of the back foot. Your front leg is going to be bent. And you want to lift those front toes and connect them with the mat. And your hips are going to be facing towards me, so facing this way. So we're not facing headlights that way. Headlights are facing towards me. Really nice. And we actually want to be really active with these legs. So we want to imagine we're pulling the mat apart with our feet. So as you do that, you'll feel your inner thighs and your thighs starting to really connect and ground you down. We're then going to bring our arms up. So our front arm forward and our back arm back. Lovely long. And then again, we're stretching through our arms. So our arms are really active. You want to make sure that your knee isn't overshooting your toes and you can still see your toes there. And then we're going to breathe. And if you want to, you can do some visualization. So looking along that front arm and visualizing what is it you want to achieve. Seeing yourself doing it. Or maybe it's a feeling. Seeing yourself acting the way you would if you feel that way. 2 more breaths. Breathe deep into the belly. Really nice. And then we're going to humble that arm. So we're going to bring the front arm onto the front leg. We're going to roll the back arm all the way forward and over our head. So now we have an active stretch from the back leg all the way through to our fingers. And again, we should be able to look under our armpit. We're not collapsing forward, but we're lovely and long and straight. And again, just maybe feel where it feels right for your neck from here. And breathe. Really lovely. And breathe. And on the in-breath, you might stretch, and on the out-breath, just surrender. 2 more breaths. And if I came along and took your arm out, you should just still be really lovely and strong. So we don't want to be collapsing onto this front arm. 1 more breath. Brilliant. We're going to come up to the center. We're going to walk our toes in so they're pigeon-toed, not kneed. We're not kneed and pigeon-toed. We're going to Bring our hands to our hips. We're going to bring our heart up to the stone, so looking up just above us as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we're going to slowly fold forward. And you might want to, I've got a little bit too close, so move your feet so you get to a comfortable position, but still making sure the toes are pointing inwards. You're going to breathe in to come to a flat back. And then you're going to breathe out just to come forward and fold towards the mat. So wherever you come to, just listening to your body. Again, these legs are active. You're pushing and pulling the mat away with your feet. And you're listening to your body. Just gently nod and shake your head. 3 more breaths here. Just surrender. 1 more breath. Really nice. Then we're going to walk our hands all the way around. Turn that toe round and we come to our warrior on the second side. So now our left foot is pointing forward. Our right foot is on an angle and our heel is in line with the arch of our back foot. From there, we're going to bring our arms up. We're stretching that mat, really active legs, really feeling that engagement. Breathing in and breathing out just to surrender into it, maybe deepening the stretch a little more. But listen to your body. Have you gone too far? Are your legs too wide? If you can't hold it, then come a little closer together. Maybe taking the visualization again on this side, seeing yourself at the end of your fingertips, achieving the thing that you want to achieve, being the thing that you want to be. 1 more breath. Superb. Then we're going to humble it. We're going to bring that arm onto the front bent leg. We're going to roll that back arm all the way forward and over our head. So now we've got we want to roll that hip back. We want to be able to look under arms. So we have a lovely stretch from the back foot all the way to the fingertips. Breathing here. Remember, I can come and take your arm. You're not going to collapse. Our legs are doing all the work. Stretching through. Looking under the armpit. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Fabulous. And then coming back up to the center. We're then going to windmill our hands round to frame that front foot. We're going to turn the back leg round and we're going to drop the knee to the mat. From here, we're then going to move forwards and backwards. So we're just going to come onto the back leg. So I've got my back leg bent, my front leg forward, straight. Then we come forward and we just move. So the front leg is bent and now I've got a lovely stretch through my hip flexor. And again, listening to your body. And you want to make sure your feet are on a train track, not on a tightrope, because otherwise you're going to fall over. So you want to make sure the left foot is adequately distanced from the right knee. And listening to your body, maybe hanging out in the place you need to. You might be only up here, depending on how tight you are. That is absolutely fine. Listening to your body and what you need. And you might find your knee goes a bit crunchy as you go over it. So you can sort of take a bit of weight off as you roll over the knee. This time when we get to the front, we're going to bring our arms up and come to a low lunge. So I need to walk my toes out of this. Also, I don't want my knee to overshoot my toes. Going to lift up the front toes, separate them and connect them with the mat. Arms above our head. And from here, just tuck that tailbone under. You'll feel an increase in the stretch in the hip flexor. If you experience and want a little bit more challenge, you can tuck that back foot under and come up into a full lunge. So listening to your body here. 2 more breaths. Tuck that tailbone under. 1 more breath. Really nice. Then I'm going to come back down. I'm going to swap my knees over. So I'll bring my right foot down in front. And we just move forward and back on this side. So really listening to our bodies. Noticing how this side feels compared to the other side. Really good. Maybe hanging out somewhere that feels that it needs a little bit more. Maybe not. Maybe just keeping the movement fluid. This time we're going to stay at the front. Maybe walk that foot a little further to make sure our knees not overshooting our toes. Tucking the tailbone under, bring the arms either side of the head. Stretch through those fingertips. Lift those front toes. Separate the toes and connect them with the mat. Breathing in. Breathing out. If you want that extra, just tucking the back toe under. Really making sure you stretch between that front and back leg. Stretching those legs away. Really nice. Brilliant. From there, we're going to then come into a standing position. Super. Hope everyone's doing well. Enjoying their practice. We're nearly getting close to our relaxation. So we're just going to do a little bit of balancing. So we want to connect the right foot with the mat. So lift up the toes of the right foot. Let me come further back. You can see my feet. So really lifting the toes, separating them and connecting them with the mat. And as I get that right foot really connected to the mat, and actually balancing might be easy to come off the mat. So depending on how you are with balancing, it might be easy just to be on a hard floor. Once I feel that that foot is really connected, grounding down, imagining I've got roots coming through my feet, this foot then starts to become light. And as it becomes light, I can then just gently bring that foot in to my calf. Now that is absolutely fine staying here. If you want to come further, you can bring your foot to the inside of the top of the thigh. But staying on your calf is absolutely adequate. This is about balancing, about focus. Find something on the floor to focus on. Bring your hands to your heart center, and you can use that push between your palms, and that can help stabilize you. Lift through the crown of the head, lifting you up, breathing in. Absolutely fine to hold on to a wall as well. Totally fine. Staying with what's right for you. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. And breathing out. Fabulous. Then we're going to bring that knee in. We're going to hug it into us. Can we hug the knee in? Maybe rotate those ankles. And then, depending if you fancy it, bring your hand to your hip. Get your index finger and your middle finger. Grab hold of your big toe and push that heel away from you. I'm tucking my tailbone under. I'm bringing my chest up to be proud. My crown is lifting through. From here, we're just going to breathe. Breathe in. 2 more breaths. Clench your glutes. Fabulous. I'm going to let go of my leg and just let it hover. Can I hold it there? Can I hold it there? Can I hold it there for 2 more? And then gently bringing it back down to the mat. Well done. That was fabulous balancing there. Then we come on to the left side. So finding the left foot, connecting it with the mat, lifting the toes, separating them, really grounding through, feeling strength in that leg. Then we want that crown lifting up And then we can just bring our foot to the inside of our calf, absolutely fine. Hands to our heart center and breathe. Focus on that point. Find that soft gaze. Superb. Then we're going to bring the knee in. Bring the knee in to us, rotate the ankle. Rotate one way and then rotate the other. Practice. And then we're going to get those two fingers. We're going to grab hold of the big toe. We're going to push our heel away from us. Coming as far as feels adequate for us. Lifting through the chest, lifting through the crown. Engage those glutes. Find that point. Breathe. And we're going to let go and we're going to hover above. Let's see how far we can hold it. Can we hold it? Can we hold it? 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Can we do another 2? Go on. And gently bring it down to the mat. Well done, everyone. Just shake that out a little. Fabulous. And from there, we're going to come to the mat. And we're going to sit down. We're going to move the flesh away from our sitting bones. Our legs are extended. Our toes are lifted towards the ceiling. Our crown is lifting up. And we're just going to stay in, this is called the Tadasana or stick pose. And breathe here. Really hard. Knees are soft. 2 breaths. Last breath. And then just come into a comfortable position so you can watch me, so you don't have to twist your neck as you're doing it. We're then going to start to humble this. So we're going to start to move forward. But I want you to notice, I'm not collapsing forward. This is not about me getting my head to my knees. This is about me having length in my spine and my spine moving forward. So I'm going to just walk my hands forward. And I might only come here. And that is absolutely fine because my shoulders away from my ears and my spine is lengthening. And as I breathe, I might get more length in my spine, but this is not about getting my head to my legs. This is about my spine having length and space between the vertebrae. So everyone come up to the Tadasana, sit pose. We're going to breathe in to prepare. And as we breathe out, we're just going to slowly walk the hands forward. Maybe just come this far first of all, and we're going to breathe in again. And as we breathe out, we might walk a little further forward. Or as we breathe out, we might just have the intention of softening, but we might not go any further. Knees are soft. We're not got our knees locked. We're going to use the breath and listen to our own bodies, keeping our shoulders away from our ears, not collapsing forward, but keeping a lovely long spine. Maybe just gently shake your head. Make sure that neck isn't engaging. Come into where it feels right for you. Last breath. And slowly coming all the way back. From there, we're going to come to the front of our mat with our feet in front of our sitting bones connected, our knees are bent, crown lifting up. We're going to breathe in like this with our crown lifting and a lovely straight spine. We're going to breathe out. We're going to tuck our tailbone under and our spine comes to like a C shape. So we're kind of curling in, chins tucking in. And then we're going to breathe in. We're going to come up to our lovely straight spine. Breathe out, curling our spine to that C shape once more. Breathing in, coming up. And then as we come into this curled spine, we can really feel that our abdominals start to engage. Breathing in. This time, find a point where you can stop. And then we're going to just hold it for 3 breaths. Breathing in. And chin tucked in, tail tucked under. 1 more breath. And then we're going to slowly come down to the breath. 1 breath after. Well done, everybody. Stretching all the way from our fingers to our toes. Maybe wriggling your hips slightly. We're getting closer and closer to our Shavasana. We're going to walk our feet towards the left-hand side, keeping our sitting bones and our back completely connected to the mat. We're going to walk our arms over to the left-hand side. So now our body's in a banana shape, but our whole of our back is still completely connected to the mat. So we're just going to breathe in and breathe out there. Surrendering to the stretch. If you want to extend a little further, you can grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and you can hook the right heel over the left ankle. If you do this and it feels too much, just undo it. Listen to your body. One deep belly breath. And then slowly walking your feet back to the center. And then we're going to walk our feet over to the right hand side and our arms over to the right hand side too. Once again, if you want to extend the stretch, then hooking the left foot over the right ankle and grabbing hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Bending the breath where the tension is, where it feels tight. Using the out breath to just try and melt and surrender, to allow the body to soften. One last breath. Superb. Then you're going to bring the legs back to the center. Bring the feet bent, knees bent, sorry, with the feet as wide as the mat. And then we're just going to do our windscreen wipers again. So just dropping our knees from one side to the other. Really gently. Maybe noticing how the hips feel now after your practice compared to how they felt when we first started. Is there a renewed fluidity? Or is there any release of tension? Superb. Then we're going to bring the feet back over the hips and the hands over the shoulders into our gravity pose, and just rotating those wrists and those ankles once again. Take a lovely deep breath into your back, right into those shoulder blades. Again, noticing these joints, do they feel any different? Are you started to feel any warmth, any tingles? Then we're going to hug our knees in, give our knees a great big hug. And then we're going to just do those rolls again. Noticing that connection with the lower back as we do. And you might want to separate your knees. So I like to think of the hip joint as a bowl and the thigh bone as a spoon. And you want to imagine you're stirring the spoon around your bowl. A really slow movement. really listening to your body, maybe rotating one way and then the other. But again, noticing the joints, how are they feeling after your practice? Breathing deep into your lower spine, your lumbar spine. And then we bring our knees in. We're going to bring our arms out to a T. And we're going to just gently drop our knees over to the left-hand side. So we're coming into a twist. The aim is to try and keep both shoulder blades connected to the mat. So you might need to wriggle your shoulders a little. And then you're just going to try and surrender. If this is too much for you, you could put a cushion between your legs if you're finding this too much on your lower back. Otherwise, using your breath just to try and surrender into this twist. The twists are so good for the internal organs. They wring them out, get rid of toxins, help the digestive system to work effectively. And every out breath, just imagine connecting the shoulder blades a little further into the mat. As they melt and surrender. One last breath in. And slowly bring the knees back up to the center. And then dropping them over to the right hand side. Again, noticing you need to move your shoulders a little to get that connection with the shoulder blades. Do you need something between your thighs on this side? Cushion just to soften that twist. Once again, just noticing this side compared to the other. We're going to take a deep breath right into our belly and we're going to make a loud sigh out. So breathing in, breathing out. 2 more, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. Super. We'll slowly roll all the way onto that side. And now we need to prepare for Shavasana, everybody, which is our relaxation. So you're going to lie in corpse pose and lying on your back with your arms by your side, just like we started. If you've got a blanket, you might want to put a blanket over you. Snuggling down. And start the relaxation with a quote from Buddha. Learn to let go. That is the key to happiness. So doing whatever you need to get comfy, get those wriggles out. Bringing your attention to your breath. And once again, we're going to notice the connection of our body with the mat. Noticing where we connect, but also where we don't. And reflecting, has anything changed since the beginning of our class? Can you feel any tingles of energy, release, any warmth, any coldness? And then slowly bring your attention to your feet. Your feet that grounded you today in your practice, that helped you to balance, that held you strong. Spread your toes wide, thank them, and then let them go. Next, bring your attention to your legs that stretched you in your warrior pose, that bent and held you strong in tree pose. Thank your legs and allow them to relax. Next, move towards your hips that rotated you in windscreen wipers, that folded you forward in your forward fold. Notice any changes to your hips and allow them to release. Next, we come to our spine. Visualize each vertebra like a piano, starting at the tailbone, moving up through the lower back to the middle back, between the shoulder blades, the neck, your spine that has rotated, curled, and lengthened. Thank your spine and allow it to relax. Bring your attention to your shoulders that stabilized you in tabletop, that extended above your head in banana. Notice where they connect to the mat and release your shoulders. Finally, bring your attention to your hands and your wrists that rotated and flexed, that supported you in downward dog, that open between your fingers, extend them long, and thank them and let them go. Now notice your breath. Notice the coolness as you breathe in and the warmth as you breathe out. Notice the rise and fall of your stomach. Acknowledge the thoughts as they pop into your mind. And just like clouds passing in the sky, name them and let them go. Let your whole body go. Relax and melt into the mat. Change, both good and bad, is inevitable. So try not to waste your energy either fighting or fearing it. Instead, aim to accept it as part of the natural cycle of birth, life, and death. Slowly start to bring your attention to the room. Maybe stretching through your body or curling into a ball, but doing what you need to do to come back into the room with me. And when you're ready, slowly moving onto your side and just taking a few breaths on your side. And finally, we'll all meet back in a seated position. We bring our hands to our heart center. I end my practice by bringing my hands to my head to encourage kind thoughts, to my lips to encourage kind words, and my heart to encourage kind intentions. Thank you, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed today's practice. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Is everyone okay?